Hey guys, welcome back to Math Matters. I'm so glad you joined in with us again today. Today we're going to tap into a few practical uses of mathematics. We're going to look at unit rate. Unit rate helps us to shop, and it helps us not to be cheated. And we can find out what is the best deal. This is going to be a series that we're going to look at where we're going to be solving problems, real life problems, and you're going to gain so much out of it. You're going to see math in every area of shopping, of eating, of calories, of just purchasing things. We need to know how to estimate. We need to know how to use math in practical situations because it's a skill that we all need, not just for tests, but for real life. If you don't know your math, people are going to cheat you, so you better recognize. All right, let's go. We're going to connect it with a topic that we shared in our recent past, dealing with ratios. Ratios, if you recall, is a comparison of two items, and it can be written in three different ways. It can be written in fraction form, 48 over 12. It can also be written as 48 to 12, or it can also be written as 48 colon 12. So ratios can be written in three different ways. So I want you, the instructions for our pre-class is to take each ratio and simplify it so that we'll see it in its simplest form, which means to simply reduce the ratio. And if it's written in fraction form, you'll reduce it and it'll remain in fraction form. If it's written in word form, then you'll reduce it in word form. If it's written with the colon, you'll reduce it with the colon as your answer. All right, let's give you 2 minutes to get these 4 ratios in simplest form. Let's go. Come on, you can do it. Time's almost up. Okay, we were attempting to get rid of some of the glare that's over that 12. I'm hoping that it'll be okay. But at any rate, let's go for it. Let's answer and simplify each one. Remember, in order to simplify a ratio, put it in simplest form, we need to find the greatest common factor and divide it out. It's going to be so important to know how to simplify so that you can actually make your process so much easier. Okay? Let's simplify 48 over 12, or 48 out of 12. Okay? Or 48 to 12. Now, here we go. We have the 48 and I have the 12. I see a common factor. The common factor is 12. If I divide 12 out of the denominator, I need to do the same thing to the numerator. Divide 12. So I will divide 12 here and divide 12 here. And my equivalent ratio will be 48 divided by 12 is 4. 12 divided by 12 is 1. My reduced or simplified form of my ratio is 4 over 1, or 4 to 1. I can just simply say 4 to 1. Or, written in this format, it will be 4 colon 1. In other words, when you have two equal ratios, and in this case we do, it's called a proportion. And we'll talk about that a little further as we go on. Let's look at 36 to 9. 36 to 9. Remember, it can be written in three forms. 36 to 9, or 36 colon 9. When we simplify these ratios, we're going to simplify it in these forms as well. Okay? 36 to 9. I see a common factor. Do you see it? Sometimes we can continue to simplify until we get the most simplest form. And I'm going to go right to it and simplify it using the 9. I see a 9 I can divide out of the denominator, and I see the 9 I can divide out of the numerator. So 9 divided by 9 and 36 divided by 9 will give us an equivalent ratio, just in its simplified form. I want to make sure you realize these are division symbols and not subtraction. Okay? So 36 divided by 4, 9 divided by 9 is 1. Oh my! Oh, how nice! So I also have a 4 to 1 ratio here, and a 4 to 1 ratio written in this format. I know dots are not showing up too brightly. Okay? Written in its different formats. So what would you say, students, about 48 to 12 and 36 to 9? Would you say they are equivalent ratios? They certainly are. They reduce, both of them reduces to 4 to 1. 4 to 1. Let's look at 75 to 15. Now remember, as you know, it can be written three different ways. 75 to 15, or 75 colon 15. Once again, I see that 15 divides 15, and 15 goes evenly into 75. But suppose we don't see that right away. Let's take it a few steps, just in case you may not see it. I know that 5 goes into 75, because 5 divides any number that ends in 5. Okay? I know that 5 goes into 15. I 5 in the denominator and 5 in the numerator. 15 divided by 5, and I'm going to need more space, so I'm going to bring this down and show you step by step. Let's look at our denominator first. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now our numerator, 75 divided by 5. Let's look at it off to the side. 75 divided by 5. 5 goes into 7 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Subtract and bring down the 2, bring down my 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. So now I have 15 to 3. But I still see a common factor. And that common factor is 3, and I can divide out the 3.
Because 5 divides any number that ends in 5. Okay? I know that 5.
What I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. And my final equivalent simplified ratio would be 15 divided by 3 is 5. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Is 5 to 1. Okay? And then written in the different forms, it would be 5 to 1. And then it would also be 5 colon 1. I certainly hope you understand 75 to 15 is simplified as a 5 to 1 ratio. They are equivalent. They just look different, but they're exactly the same. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about those ones that appear in the denominator. It's called unit rate. We're going to talk about that shortly. All right, let's go on to number 4. 42 to 7. I see a common factor. Do you see it? What is 7 divided by 7? That's going to equal 1. I need to do the same thing to my numerator. 42 divided by 7 is 6. 42 to 7 is equivalent to 6 to 1. Absolutely equal to 6 to 1. And of course we can write it as 6 to 1. And we can also write it as 6 colon 1. Okay? Does this make sense? I certainly hope so. All right, because we're getting ready to tap into our topic for today. We're going to deal with unit rates, and we're going to do it by modeling. We're going to also compare and look at the modeling of ratios. And what are we talking about? And why is order so important when you're dealing with ratios? You can't switch up that numerator and the denominator any old kind of way. You can't do it. You've got to be able to keep things in order in order to get the right answer. All right, let's tap into that in just a moment. Going to erase our pre-class. Good job, everybody. Good job. Okay, now here we're going to start talking about how to write a ratio. Writing the ratio and the order in which we have to write it, because it's going to be so important if we're going to deal with proportions and finding out what the answer is when we look at unit rate. It's going to be very, very important. Okay, so in my hand, if I don't drop too many of them, I've got some interesting colorful balloons. I didn't want to blow them up because it's not important to blow them up as much as it is important to know how many we're dealing with, the color we're dealing with, and how to write it. So if you see here, I've got so many orange, 1, 2, 3 orange balloons, and I've got 2 light blue balloons, and I've got 2 green balloons, And I've got 2 blue balloons, 1 yellow and 1 pink. And because math is so interesting, I'm going to write this down just so you can make a connection later when we're dealing more into algebra. So I've got 2 orange balloons, and that's not a 0. Let me just put a I'm going to say the orange, I'm going to make it look like an orange. Okay? 2 orange balloons. I've got 2 pink balloons. I've got 2 dark blue balloons. I'm going to say, call that D. And I've got 2 light blue balloons. I'm going to call that L. And I've got 2 green balloons. Okay, no, I don't have them all. As a matter of fact, I have, let's go back up, 3 orange balloons. Let's put them together. 1, 2, 3 orange. I've got 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 pinks, and 1 yellow. 1 yellow balloon. Okay? So, with that in mind, if I were to write a ratio, a ratio of pink to dark blue balloons. Pink to dark blue. That would be a 2 to 2, 2 to 2 ratio. Form would be a 1 to 1. 1 to 1 ratio. In other words, with my pink and my dark blue balloons, if I pick them up, that means for every 1 dark blue, I've got 1 pink. Okay? So I have a 1 to 1 ratio. 1 to 1, 1 to 1. For every 1 pink, I've got a blue. Okay? That's what it means. This is my 1 to 1. Okay? All right. So, if I wanted to find the ratio of green to yellow, I would go to my green, and I know I have 2 green to 1 yellow. 2 to 1 ratio. In other words, I've got my 2 green. For every 2 green, I only have 1 yellow. For every 2 green balloons, I've got 1 yellow balloon. Okay? So that's a 2 to 1 ratio. And I think I want to kind of determine what would it look like if I had a light blue to the total number of balloons. Light blue to total number of balloons. I've got 2 light blue to the total number of balloons. That means I've got to add them all up. So how many total balloons do I have? 3 plus 2 is 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 out of the 12 balloons are light blue. You don't believe it? Count them up. 2 out of the 12 balloons
green, I only have 1 yellow. For every 2 green balloons, I've got 1 yellow. Okay? So that's 2 to
that's my ratio. 2 out of the 12 are the light blue. That can be simplified to 1 out of 6. How did I get there? By dividing out the 2, the common factor. Divide out the 2 in the numerator and the denominator. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 12 divided by 2 is 6. This is my ratio. For every 1 light blue, I've got 6 balloons. Okay? For every 1 light blue, there are 6 balloons in that bag. Okay? Any questions? All right. Okay, so I wanted to look at that as a demonstration. I also want to ask you one more, and then we will get back to our next topic of unit rate. What is the ratio of orange to yellow? What is the ratio of orange to yellow? Pretty easy, huh? Just go to our board and we have 3 to 1. Okay, 3 to 1 is the ratio of orange to yellow. Any questions? If you have a question, feel free to text it to us. Find us on Facebook. Find us on the app, and you'll be able to determine and get that answer. First, submit your question, and then look for us to answer it. Now, let's look at unit rate. What do we mean by unit rate? If all 12 balloons cost $48, okay, $48, okay, I'll make it 48 cents. Okay, because we know balloons are not that expensive, at least not yet. So these particular balloons, we have 12 balloons and they cost 48 cents. How much does one balloon cost? All 12 total cost 48 cents. How much does one balloon cost? And we can literally write that down as a ratio and then solve for the unknown for our unit rate. So let's do that.
If you have a question, feel free to text it to us. Find us on Facebook. Find us on
Okay? Here we go. So if 12, we're going to do a balloon to cost. Balloon to cost. If 12 balloons cost 48 cents, I have to put that decimal there. How much does one balloon cost? I've got to list it the same way. I've got to do balloons over cost. One balloon costs how much? I don't know yet. We've got to figure it out. That's what makes math so wonderful. Okay? You can come up with the problem and then you can figure out the answer. Let's go. Let's do it. So, 12 balloons cost 48 cents. One balloon costs how much? I don't know. Let's cross multiply and find out. Remember last time we were multiplying, we cross multiply. All right, let's go. Here, 48 times 1 is 48 cents. We'll just have to put the denominator, the decimal point there. Is equal to 12x. Okay, 12 times x is equal to 12x. Now, when we get to this point, 12 times some number equals 48 cents. What answer is that? What number is that? In order to find out, we have to do the opposite operation. I don't want to get too technical right now because You just have to take my word for it. We need to divide the 12. Because 12 is being multiplied, you need to do the opposite operation and divide. So let's draw our fraction bar and divide by 12. Okay? My 12, we come down with the unknown, we come down with x, is equal to 48 cents divided by 12. Let's take that off to the side. 48 divided by 12, and we'll put that in our answer. 48 cents divided by 12. 12 goes into 48 how many times? I'm going to think maybe 4 times. Let me check. 4 times 12. I can check it over here. 4 times 12. I see the 8. I see the 4. Bingo. So let's put it up here. 12 goes into 4 0 times. I have to put that there. 12 goes into 4 0 times. 12 goes into 48 4 times. So, students, I need you to realize that each balloon will cost 4 cents. And you know that 0.04 is equal to 4 cents. Okay? If you don't believe me, watch this. I'm going to write over here $1.04. Many of you, some of the students would in my class would say, well, I don't know if that's how you write it, Miss Fine. Yep. Because if I have $1.04 and I buy something for $1, all I've got is my 4 cents left. Sometimes they were able to see it this way, and I could prove to them that, yes, decimal point 0.04 is actually equal to 4 cents. We don't normally see that symbol anymore. Whew, we really don't. But this is a symbol, a C with a line down the center. That used to be our cent symbol. We don't see that much. We usually use the decimal to represent our change. Okay? And we're going to tap into that when we start looking at percentages. And we're going to do that in one of our series in this lesson. Okay? This lesson pool. So at any rate, we were looking at balloons to cost. 12 balloons cost 48 cents. 1 balloon costs what? That's the unknown. We cross multiply to find out. We come down with 48 cents times 1 is 48 cents. 12 times x is 12x. Divide out the 12 on both sides of your equal sign. Divide out 12. 48 cents divided by 12. We did that off to the side. 48 cents divided by 12. We put our decimal point in our answer. 12 goes into 4 0 times. 0 times 12 is 0. And we come down with our 48. 12 goes into, well, it's already in our answer. 12 goes into 48. 4 times 12 is 48. We subtract and we have no remainder in that case. Any questions? We've just shown you each step. Okay? So each balloon costs 4 cents. Is that a good deal? Well, you can compare that. Suppose we had this deal where the bag of balloons, this bag of balloons, cost 48 cents for the whole bag of 12. And then I have a bag of 5 balloons. I'll just take from, let's see, I'll use this bag and I'll pretend I've got a different deal. 2, 4, 5 balloons. For, let's say 5 balloons will cost 25 cents. 5 balloons for 25 cents. Okay? So I want to compare prices. So we realized that 12 balloons for 48 cents, that was one bag. And now I'm going to compare 5 balloons for 25 cents. So if 5 balloons cost 25 cents,
right now, I'm putting one of your lessons on there now.
One balloon costs how much? I'm going to look at the unit rate in order to see which one is the best deal. How do you get to the best deal? You've got to compare the unit rate. Okay? And unit meaning one. Okay? Rate meaning how much is one going to cost? Okay? If I can buy 5 balloons for 25 cents, how much does one balloon cost? And here's how we're going to do it. Once again, we're going to cross multiply. And by the way, this skill of cross multiplying, you will see it again. That's why we chose to show you this method. Okay? In demonstration. Okay? So, we cross multiply, we get 5x is equal to 25 cents.
So it's also on Twitter.
Once again, anytime you have a number multiplied times a variable, in order to solve for that variable or that unknown or that x here, we need to do the opposite. The opposite of multiplying by 5 is to divide by 5. What we do on one side of the equal sign, we must do on the other side. Divide by 5. My 5 over 5 is equal to 1, therefore it cancels. And we come down with that x, isolated all by itself, which was our goal, to find out what x is equal to. And then we have to divide here. 25 cents divided by 5. Oh, you should know the answer already. Okay? If you have 25 cents and you divide it with 5 of your friends, how much would each friend get?
You're also on Periscope.
You know, I know that you know. But let's go off to the side for math purposes. I know you know the answer. 25 cents divided by 5. Put my decimal in my answer. And then 5 goes into 2. 0 times 5 is 0. Subtract, come down with my 25. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, and I have no remainder. Well, guess what, guys? It costs 5 cents.
Now, Facebook, I still upload it. I can still upload it to it.
In this scenario, if I purchase 5 balloons for 25 cents or 12 balloons for 48 cents, which one is the better buy? Do I want to pay 5 cents for each balloon or 4 cents for each balloon?
But right now, September, we're going to YouTube because
I think it's better to buy 12 balloons for 48 cents as opposed to 5 balloons for 25 cents. Okay? I pay less, and it's always good to pay less. No wonder the shoe store, oh, I'm not giving them any credits. No, I take that.
Well, go buy a book.
It's better to pay 4 cents for each balloon as opposed to 5 cents. Okay? So, I'll take the 12. Thank you very much. I'll take 12 balloons for 48 cents. Okay? All right. Let's look at some more unit rates, because they are fun. And when you find a unit rate, you can always compare. And when you get good at it, oh my goodness, you can really, really have a ball. Okay? So we are dealing with unit rates right now. And because of that, we can compare. All right? So, we're going to look at batteries. I have here 6 batteries. 2, 4, 6. Okay, 6 batteries. Are expensive. 6 batteries. 6 batteries, and we're going to, let me do it this way. We're going to look at cost to batteries. Okay? It costs $7 for 6 batteries. Cost to batteries. $7 for batteries. How much does it cost for 1 battery? $7 for 6 batteries. How much does it cost for 1 battery? The order truly, truly matters. That's why I put here cost to batteries. Cost to batteries has to equal cost to batteries equal cost to batteries. Okay? 6 batteries cost $7. How much does 1 battery cost? 1 battery costs how much? All right? So we cross multiply to find out. On this side, coming down over here on the left, we get 6x is equal to, coming down over here on the right, equal to 7. Students, 6 times some number equals 7. Anytime you have this type of setup, you need to do the opposite operation. We're multiplying right now 6 times x. The opposite of multiplying by 6 is to divide by 6. Divide 6 on the left and divide 6 on the right. These 6's will cancel. 6 over 6 is equal to 1x. We bring down the x all by itself. And now I have 7 divided by 6. I'll do that off to the side. 7 divided by 6. In order to do this, we need a decimal point. Put it in our answer and put a 0. Adding or attaching a decimal with zeros behind it does not change your number. It just helps you to simplify it and get the correct answer. So 6 goes into 70. Oh, my. Ooh, let me apologize even before we do that. I do apologize. We have 6 going into 7 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. Come down with the 6 and subtract. We get 1. And now we can attach and bring down our 10. All right? Put it in our answer. Okay. Now 6 goes into 10. How many times? 1 time. 1 times 6 is 6. Come down with 4. And we can attach another 0. 6 goes into 40. I'm seeing it already. 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Subtract. Oh, what do you think is going to happen? Even if we attach another 0, what do you think is going to happen? We're going to get another 6. 6 goes into 40. 6 times 6 is 36. We're going to subtract and come down with 4. Even if I keep attaching zeros, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to be 1.166666, or we can put a line above it. But if we're dealing with money, we need to round it off. Our money only runs 2 decimal places. So we're going to have to do some rounding off here. So let's look at this, and I'm going to take this answer and put it here, and then I'm going to simplify it. This x, this cost is approximately, I'm going to put a little squiggle line above my equal sign. That means it's almost equal to 1.166 with the line. But if we're going to put it in terms of money because we're dealing with cost, remember the cost $7 for 6 balloons. How much does 1 balloon cost? So the cost is here. And we need to write this in terms of money. How much is 1.166? This 6 in the third decimal place or in the thousandth decimal place tells us to round up. Remember, when you're rounding, you have to look at, when you're rounding to the nearest hundredth or nearest penny, you have to look at the third place to determine whether you're rounding up or rounding down. In this case, this 6 tells us to round up. If you have 6, 7, 8, or 9, or even the 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we round up. If you have 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, you round down. Okay? So this 6 tells us to round up, and now we have this x is equal to, in terms of money, if we round up, this 6 in the penny place or the hundredth place goes up by 1, and it's $1.17. $1.17 if we round it off. Okay? That's how much 1 battery will cost. Okay? Does that make sense? Let's do a quick review. The cost of batteries. C to B. Has to be, and it has to remain in that type of order. $7 for 6 batteries. How much does it cost for 1 battery? So this is cost to batteries is equal to cost to batteries. Okay? Now, when we cross multiply, in order to solve this problem, this real problem, we came down with 6x is equal to 7. We divide by 6 on both sides so that we can solve for x all by itself. We brought the x down, is equal to 7 divided by 6. And over here we did 7 divided by 6. When we divided, 6 goes into 7. 1 times 6 is 6. Come down with the 1. Bring down our 0 after we put our decimal in its correct place. Okay? 6 goes into 10. 1 times 6 is 6. Come down with 4. Bring down another 0. 6 goes into 40. 6 times 6 is 36. Come down, and we realize that we're going to keep getting 40. We're going to keep getting the 6. And so we stopped and put a line above the 6 because it will just continue on and on and on infinitely until you get tired and want to round off. When we're dealing with money, as we were dealing with the cost, we needed to round off to the nearest hundredth place. That next digit told us to round up. Okay, so therefore we get $1.17 for each one of the batteries. Make sense? I hope so. All right. And we are going to give you one to work out on your own, and therefore you'll be able to know if you really have it or you need more practice. Okay? So let me give you one on your own. We're going to look at measuring tapes for the one that you're going to do for yourself. Here I'm going to make it a little different. I have a package of 4. I'm going to separate this. 4 measuring tapes. And as a store owner, I need to know how much does each measuring tape cost. If I have 4 measuring tapes, you can see it better on this side, 4 measuring tapes, the 4 of them cost, I'm going to work it out, 4 measuring tapes, the cost of the package of measuring tapes is, say, $3.60. $3.60 for 4 measuring tapes. That'll be cost to tapes. Cost to tapes. $3.60 for 4 measuring tapes. How much does 1 measuring tape cost? Cost to 1 measuring tape. You work it out. We'll be right back to see how well you've done. Okay? Work it out.
I need to know how much does each measuring tape cost. If I have 4 measuring tapes, you can see it on this side. 4 measuring tapes. The 4 of them cost let's work it out. 4 measuring tapes. The cost of the package of measuring tapes is, say, $3.60. $3.60 for 4 measuring tapes. That'll be cost to tapes. Cost to tapes. $3.60 for 4 measuring tapes. How much does 1 measuring tape cost?
I'll give you 30 more seconds.
You work it out. We'll be right back to see how well you've done. Okay? Work it out.
Okay, time's up. Time is moving. Time is money. Okay, let's look at the steps. First thing you wanted to do is cross multiply. Can I just put cross in that X here? I'll even put the arrows. Cross multiply is your first step. And then let's do it as we go. We get 4x is equal to $3.60. Once you get here, then you need to divide out.
I'll give you 30 more seconds.
Divide out the number in front of the variable. There is a name for it. I'm going to use it. It's called the coefficient. Okay? It'll be the number in front of the variable. For example, the number in front of the variable. This is the coefficient. It's the number that appears in front of the variable. Okay? So we need to divide out the coefficient and then get our answer. All right? All right, so let's do that. Let's divide out the coefficient. Here is 4 on both sides. The 4s will cancel. So our next step is to cancel. Cancel the number or the coefficient. Cancel the coefficient. All right, so then we bring down the variable is equal to, and then go ahead and divide. All right, so 4 goes into 36 or $3.60. So let's do that. $3.60 divided by 4. First thing we need to do is put our decimal in our answer. And then go ahead. 4 goes into 3. Nope. So We don't even really need that 0, but I'll put it there. 0 times 4 is 0. Subtract. Come down with 36. 4 goes into 36 9 times. 9 times 4 is 36. Subtract. Come down, bring that last 0 down. 4 goes into 0. 0 times 4 is 0. And we subtract and we're done. So our answer is 90 cents. So cross to tapes. Measuring tapes is what we're talking about. $3.60 will buy us 4 measuring tapes. 90 cents buy us 1. Is the unit rate. So 90 cents is the unit rate. X is equal to 90 cents. Okay? Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you've learned something new. Okay? Join us next time, and we'll be here for you because math really does matter. Take care. Bye-bye now.
So, cross to tapes. Measuring tapes is what we're talking about. $3.60 will buy us 4 measuring tapes.
So, I go to Facebook.
90 cents.
Wait a minute, Didi, wait a minute.
Is the unit.